welcome to another segment, the Week 12 Cavalier Insider Pregame Show. Andrew Ramspacker and Jerry Ratcliffe as we break down the Commonwealth Cup. Going to be played Saturday, 3:30 at Scott Stadium. Obviously, Virginia out for its first win in 10 tries against its arch rivals from Blacksburg. And, of course, Virginia Tech still with an outside shot to win the ACC Coastal and go to the ACC Championship game. So, again, as we mentioned before, some intriguing storylines going into this one. Got to start off, though, by talking about what Virginia will be missing for the first half. Arguably its best player this season, and has put together one of the best defensive performances that Virginia's had in a while with 8 interceptions. He leads the country. Anthony Harris was ejected from the Miami game. A controversial call where he was, according to officials, was targeting Stephen Morris, although it kind of just nicked his helmet, the crown of his helmet nicked the shoulder of Stephen Morris. It was reviewed, it was upheld, and so Anthony Harris, by rule, because that happened in the third quarter of the Miami game, does have to sit out the first half of this Saturday's game against Virginia Tech. So right off the bat, Hootie, obviously Virginia is an underdog already and now be without its best player for the first 30 minutes. What kind of impact does this have on Virginia's defense?
I would imagine a great deal, because I'm sure Tech's going to attack whoever's in his spot and try to take advantage of it. And it's tough when you have your best defensive back there and one of your leaders and one of the smartest guys on the team, really, missing for the first half, where most everything is established in a game. So I think it could have a great impact on what Virginia's trying to do.
Yeah, you talked about him being the most intelligent. I thought it was interesting at least, him talking on Monday at the press conference about how he's been able to get these interceptions. He says he kind of, some film study early on in the week, and then he goes back on Friday and circles routes that he keys up in his mind, and that how he sees certain things, and it's just kind of like an automatic. I mean, even on Saturday against Miami, he could have had another pick where he jumped the route. So he is really, really on a roll, and it's a shame this might kind of lose some of his momentum, him being out the first 30 minutes on Saturday. But another storyline of this one, and last year it was a kind of if you're a fan of offense, it wasn't the greatest game to watch. I don't think Saturday is going to be any different. Last year was 17-14. Virginia had a defensive touchdown in there. Obviously, Virginia Tech gets a late field goal off of an interception from Michael Rocco late. This game, it's not too spectacular offenses. Virginia Tech, though, probably does have an advantage because it does have a very good defense. I mean, is that the matchup right there? Can UVA's offense, which, showed some signs of life last week, granted, against kind of a weak Miami defense, but can it move the ball against a pretty stout Virginia Tech defense?
Yeah, it may come right down to the 2 quarterbacks, or 3, depending on how many is in the mix. But, it is 2 of the worst offenses in the ACC, and both quarterbacks have pretty low pass efficiency ratings. Logan Thomas seems to be a hot and cold passer. The one thing constant with him is that, particularly in Virginia games in recent years, seems like he's able to convert a lot of big third downs with his feet.
Yeah,
he's a big body, and he's hard to tackle. Virginia seems to struggle stopping him. On the other side, Watford, I think, is going to have to run more than he would probably prefer to. And he's going to have to be smart and not turn the ball over. If it comes down to those 2 guys making the difference, you have to throw it in to Tech's lap as far as being favored, because he hasn't turned the ball over nearly as much as Virginia, but he's certainly as susceptible to that as well.
Yeah, you're looking at a couple of starting quarterbacks in Logan Thomas for Virginia Tech and obviously David Watford for Virginia. A combined 27 interceptions coming into this one. Watford with 15, Logan Thomas with 12. So, they will give opportunities for defenders to take advantage. That Virginia Tech secondary has produced a lot of picks this year, and there's some young guys back there. They're going to be around for a while with the younger Fuller and Faison. There's some serious talent on that back end. Of course, Virginia has serious talent on that back end too. He's just going to be out for the first 30 minutes, and Anthony Harris. So it'll be a bit of a chess match to see what happens. Obviously, if it's Grayson Lambert, not as mobile as David Watford, when he is in there, you can expect Bud Foster, that Virginia Tech defense, to get after Lambert to make him move from that pocket, which I think would be pretty interesting to watch. If you saw Virginia Tech play Tom Savage and Pitt earlier this year, it was tough for Tom Savage, who is not the most mobile of quarterbacks. So who knows? You could see a flash of that. I'm sure Bud Foster will take a page from that playbook when they played Pitt. So still, it's a toss-up. A couple of rivals going at it. We'll figure out who's going to win on Saturday. We'll give our predictions here in another segment.